Greetings and salutations, friends. This is Ken Thacker of Under Fire, responding to this video about the so-called Sexypatriot by JDV. As a relative newcomer to the world of YouTube, with only a few weeks and a few videos behind me, I can say that before today I had never even heard of the Sexypatriot, so-called. Needless to say, I was a little surprised by the contents of this video and understandably curious, so I decided to go check out this Sexypatriot, so-called, out and see what it was all about. In the future, I would ask a favor of John. Would you please put some kind of disclaimer or warning out on people, to basically to let people know when you're responding to them of the dangers of the individuals, like say the Sexypatriot. I mean, it was almost physically painful going through some of the things on that page and those videos. Some of them are nothing more than the regurgitated stale vomit that's been put out by the radical left for years. And if there was any original content there, I'm sure I didn't see it at all. I could actually feel brain cells dying while I was reviewing the body of work, if you want to call it that, and I'm sure I may have actually lost a couple of IQ points just by looking at some of those videos. Very dangerous. So please, next time put up a disclaimer, just a little constructive criticism there. As for the Sexypatriot, so-called, being a fraud, I think that it is so obvious that anyone who thinks with that thing, on their shoulders, instead of with, well, other things, should see through this one easily. While I cannot prove this or back it up in any way, I would be willing to bet that this Sexypatriot, so-called, is probably a 53-year-old sales clerk named Ralph who calls himself Rowena when he's out cross-dressing on weekends while trying to pick up guys who are either too drunk, too high, or too desperate to care. Those pictures the Patriot uses are obviously fake, as if that really was the Patriot, what the Patriot really looked like. He, she, or it would be more willing to show up on camera in the flesh. In fact, I would not be surprised at all if the Patriot really looked like MASH's Corporal Klinger, complete with the pastel-flowered housecoat, pink boa, and 5 o'clock shadow. Now, to be honest, I really don't care what the Patriot looks like. What I do care about, though, is intellectual dishonesty. The blatant theft of the work of others, or the presentation of work that is obviously not that of the Patriot, is what gets my gall. Being a newbie with only a few weeks and a few videos behind me, it should not be surprising that I have very little in the way of hits and exposures at this point. I haven't been around long enough. What is sad about the Sexypatriot is that all of the hits he or it or whatever it is has obtained have been while riding on the backs of others. While I may not look like the Sexypatriot allegedly looks like, and believe me, I know how I look as my mirror breaks down and cries every morning when I go to shave. At least all of my content is original, from myself, and presented unashamedly by myself. So to the Sexypatriot, I say this: plagiarism is not impressive, and it does not reflect positively upon you in any way. Being a good thief, a great thief, even a famous thief, does not make you something to aspire to or admire. It just makes you a thief. Your work, so-called, at best, is nothing more than the recycled detritus of various diseased minds which you have repackaged, relabeled, and placed your own name on. At worst, it is outright theft of the work of others, in which you have either modified to make it look like it's something other than it is. I want you to know I especially loved your Young Republicans video, in which the young girls who are obviously having a sleepover while watching one of those idiotic reality TV shows, or perhaps even American Idol, in which you crudely dubbed over a news report of Barack Obama being announced as the next president of the U.S., to the tears and screams and consternation of the girls who were watching. That was classic. Obvious, but classic. This, of course, is not only theft of someone else's intellectual property, but the misrepresentation goes beyond the borders of libel and slander. You're not funny, you're not clever, you're not talented, you're probably not even cute. You're shallow, uneducated, morally bankrupt, intellectually dishonest, and you're not even worth the time it took me to put together this response, except in order to point this out to others who may be taken in. You're not even interesting enough to make me want to vomit. Do those of us who do our own work a favor. Don't go away angry. Just go away. John, love your work. Watch it every chance I get, and even my 4-year-old likes to sit on my lap and watch you too. And he has very discriminating tastes. Keep up the good work. Love everything that you've done so far. This is Ken Thacker from Under Fire, signing off and wishing you fair winds and waters.